Oh, hey guys. I just almost flipped my phone. Anyway, um, welcome to my channel. In this video, we have yet again another Boys Planet episode 6 review. I know it's a little bit late because my filming was so delayed. I watched it on Friday morning. Now it's like what, Monday? It's been a while because I've been quite busy, and yesterday I was gonna film and things went a little outside of my expectation. Anyway, with that mysterious introduction, we're going to talk about episode 6. Now, I had quite a bit to talk about for episode 6. To be honest, I'm really excited for episode 7 more because that's where all of my favorite trainees are performing. In episode 6, it was more like, trainees performing, but it wasn't like my favorite. Okay, let's first talk about Ma Jingxiang finally getting screen time. I'm like pretty neutral. Like I guess I like do vote for him, but I'm pretty neutral about him. Firstly, just want to say like his little dancing for Rush Hour was so cute. And actually, speaking of Rush Hour, I was really confused about why Mnet would even pick Rush Hour. Like, we already knew that Jay and Camden did Rush Hour in their audition, so like, why repeat it? And it would also make somewhat sense if they did an audition with Rush Hour and it wasn't really shown on screen and it was edited out. However, that wasn't the case, and it was like almost a really big deal. I think it's almost like the third most watched audition video, or maybe even second, not too sure, but it's like really popular, so I'm not entirely sure why they decided to repeat Rush Hour. It just kind of gives that group a disadvantage because they're essentially just repeating it, and it's like less of a wow factor for that team. Anyway, I am also really growing on Seowon. I've mentioned this a ton of times back in other episode reviews, but no, someone tell him that he actually deserves to be in the Love Killa team. Like, he was like the only one without the top 9 jacket, which I thought it was a little bit odd because like they're practicing, why would they need an outerwear? Anyway, no, he really deserves to be there, and he's just as popular as the other, maybe not as popular, but he deserves to be on that team with the top 9 members as well. And I have a feeling that for the next ranking, he'll definitely be higher than where he was. And I really do love the Love Killa team, just talking about them. I can totally understand why Kim Ji-young is popular, and if you guys don't know, he's a guy that is an actor. He just has a very actor vibe, and he almost gives vampire vibes. And I was like, not a huge fan of him. I was like, okay, I can get why people like him because he's really good looking, but now I finally got as to like why he was so popular. Like, his personality is so different from his cold looks, and he's actually more of a funny kind of person than you would think. And okay, there was this other team which I think it was I don't know. Anyway, in one of the teams, there's like the Chen Guan Rui guy. He's the one with the crazy pole, stick dancing thing. I don't know how to describe it, but he was in a team with Im Jun-seo, and this guy, he's like good looking, but he's not that talented. I'm sure he didn't train enough, and he was really like unconfident about himself, and he didn't want that many parts. And I get that he has low confidence, but at that point, I thought he was just kind of wasting time because he tried out to be, I think it was a vocal one, sub vocal one, and he was like, okay, then you guys should do like a dance, or no, maybe it was a dance position, and they were like, you guys should do a dance battle, and he's suddenly like, oh, maybe not, and it just kind of repeated over and over again, and I don't think Mnet was trying to evil edit him, they were just trying to show the situation. If anything, they were definitely, I should search that guy's name up, they were definitely more so, I don't know how to say it in English, but like good editing. Oh yeah, Chen Quan-jui, that guy, the Chinese guy. And he was a leader, and he was leading him really well and pushing him to try out for more parts and saying that you've got nothing to lose, why not just try for it? And yeah, I thought that part was slightly odd. And finally, we get to actual evil editing. Ma Jingxiang, as we mentioned before, he got evil edited in the Rush Hour team because he was essentially like going by himself, practicing ahead of the other members, while I think it was Takuto, because he wasn't too great at dancing. He was kind of holding back the group, and so Ma Jingxiang just went ahead and learned the other parts in advance. And just by that, it wouldn't really mean anything, right? But one of the old members from his Aju Nice team was saying that he only thinks about himself. I really forget who it is. It was definitely an H name. It's one of Hiroto, Haruto, or it was one of those two actually, yeah. It kind of confuses me. Their names are similar, but their vibe and their faces are so different. So yeah, anyway. And was like, yeah, Bajin Shan was being so selfish for doing that. So I was like, huh, maybe that isn't evil editing. It was definitely evil edited for sure. Him just like going on his tablet alone, because like really that in itself is not that big of a deal. But his members saying that about him makes me reconsider. I don't know. Still like him though. Like I said, I'm pretty neutral about him, and at this point, I think everyone is kind of accustomed to the fact that Mnet will evil edit. And although in Boys Planet, I don't think it's that severe as to other episodes, or sorry, other seasons of Girls Planet or even the Purdue series, it's still prevalent, I think. There's this part where Jung Mingyu is like completely amazed by Tere, Kim Tere's vocals. And he's just like an absolute fan. Jung Mingyu, he honestly does surprise me because he was the Red House guy, you know, my house, and he wasn't super talented. But you can really see him trying, and like him with his really loud vocals. Like that's funny, and that's the attitude I want to see on survival shows. It doesn't matter if you're untalented or not. But as long as you have that kind of motivation, although I think he will be eliminated, as long as you have that motivation, you're good. Like, I don't really get trainees that join the show and think it's gonna be like a free pass. Cough, cough. Okay, now we're going to actually get into the performances. So the very first performance was the Gang group, and that group had like Kim Junyeon and other members as well. I'm mainly going to be focusing on him because he was kind of like the highlight. Mnet really likes him. Anyway, I was extremely surprised by their performance that none of them had dance choreography making experience in advance, because it was just really good and super impressive. And I was actually wondering, because before they show the performance, they show their, you know, the training and practicing and all of those scenes, and they were all like really silent and a little bit worried because none of the members had dance experience, or not dance experience, but choreo making experience. So I was like, I'm excited to see how this performance will turn out. And they really don't get any help from the trainers other than, you know, receiving feedback, but they don't help make the choreo in any way. And no, Kim Junyeon absolutely carried making the choreography, in my opinion, or at least leading that. I'm sure the members also contributed to that, but he did a really good job. And yeah. Okay, a little side note, apart from the Gang performance, it was great. I love that Kim Junyeon had to make that slight, you know, ab showing part, although it was just like a shirt, I think. Anyway, there are like these certain trainees with the same expression every time, and I just wanted to highlight this. Song Bin and his like this face every time. His reaction is always gonna be that same surprised face, and then Ricky with his poker face. It's so funny every time Mnet shows his face because he's just like that, and it's just always blank, no expression whatsoever. And then we've got not Camden, and his what am I doing here kind of face. And he's like always looking so awkward, and I love that for him. And these days on TikTok, I keep getting Camden videos, probably because I keep liking them, right? And he really looks like this one plushie. It's called Pooh. And I don't know what about it. It's like almost like a snail with like really big eyes. And that might seem offensive, but go search up Pooh character, or plushie at least, like a stuffed animal, and it looks exactly like Camden. It's crazy. Okay. Next, moving on to the Zoom team. For Zoom team, Mnet gave a lot of attention to this trainee called Park Hyun-bin. And not gonna lie, I don't know, I didn't even know he was a trainee before this, so I guess good for Mnet, because they clearly showed another trainee. I actually think he was in another group, or at least someone affiliated him with Keita, I think? Oh. No. Yes? It's such a common name, so it doesn't automatically pop up when I search him up. We'll see later on, because people said stop wasting time with Googling, you should research in advance. There was a comment like that and it was so sad. I'm just kidding. Anyway, yeah. No. He was the center, and later on when they were doing like an evaluation for the other group members, if that makes sense. No, it doesn't. Like they were doing an evaluation where each group performs in front of the other, like what, 50 something trainees, and everyone said that this guy Park Hyun Bin was lacking a lot, and he was actually taking initiative and saying, you know, if I think I'm not cut out to be the center, I think I should give it to another person for the team. And he wasn't being selfish about it, which is great to see. Although they're in front of cameras, so it's going to be different from their legit personalities. But no, the Zoom team actually really, really slayed that. I had really high expectations because everyone on TikTok, because they watch it in advance, because I watch it on Viki, so it's always like a couple days late when I watch it. And everyone was like, Zoom is the absolute best, well-rounded performance. So I was like, this better be good or I'm going to be extremely disappointed. And also, Ollie, one of my picks, is also in that group, so I was extremely excited for it. But no, their team was so great. Just like, apart from the performance, their team just really seemed like a team. They all had that certain image. Their voices also go well together and they all have a very similar vibe. And I also especially love their outfits. It just looked really cohesive and fun and colorful. And I truly do think that if it's going from one song versus the next, although this wasn't that kind of competition, I think it was just like a pick A if you think this trainee did well, pick B if you think they were lacking. But if you do choose a well-known song in a survival show, it gives you such an advantage, and like, especially when it's paired with like great stage presence, it's gonna give you a loud crowd. And I think that was especially what was great about this performance. It was a well-known song, they made it their own, and they had extremely great stage presence, like every single one of the members. And I absolutely loved their vocals as well. The pre-chorus with Park Hyun Bin's vocals and Umuti's vocals, absolutely good. Like, I knew Umuti was already good at singing because he was in the Love Me Right team with like Jay, and his vocals were great as well because I'm pretty sure he was he was the main vocal, but then he changed to the center. Anyway, I did not know about Park Hyun Bin's vocals being that good, so I guess good for Mnet for showing that kind of screen time and actually showing that there's a trainee like him. No, and then I later searched him up because I was curious about what audition he did and his other performances as well, but apparently he's been talented from his audition clip and I've just been ignoring it this entire time. Apparently he did an 80s song, I forgot what it was, Bot? Yeah, Bot is like coolness in Korean. Yeah, and later on when they do the voting thing, you know how they like show it on screen, and the point difference really was not that far off from member to member, and I think it's because everyone got to shine in their own way. And the fact that the killing part member got the least amount of votes really does tell you something. I do kind of feel bad for him though. Like, imagine being the killing part and still getting less votes. But I think it's mainly because the killing part wasn't as loud as the other performances. Because some performances it'll be like blatantly, oh, this person is the killing part. But for this performance, it was slightly hard to tell. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna talk about the next performance, which is Home by 17. And this one, Mnet's pick for this performance, as they always have one, was Yoon Jong-woo. And he absolutely carried, I'm not gonna lie. And, you know, I think screen time and just attention from Mnet really gives you a boost in votes. And that's exactly what happened for him because he skipped a lot of votes and made his way up here. And I could absolutely see his votes absolutely just skyrocket in episode 7 if they even decide to show the votes then. I'm pretty sure they will. But no, he's an individual trainee as well, and the fact that he's so talented in dancing really, really does surprise me. And you wouldn't really think that he fits the home concept really well, but he pulled it off. I was thinking, oh, he only fits that bad boy backdoor kind of concept. However, he kind of killed this. And his little like solo dance, I think near the end of the song, or near the end of the performance at least, was really, really solid. And I'm sure you guys know, but I'm not really easily impressed by dancing. I'm impressed by singing. But no, his dancing was extremely impressive and his stage presence was really, really there. Like, you could see the emotion and the connection to the song. So yeah. Honestly, all of the members were so talented and like all of them could sing really, really well. However, each of them had a really uneasy look going on. Like, with the exception of maybe Yoon Jong-woo, they all looked really, really uncomfortable almost. And like the members, all of them had really, really great stage presence in their past performances, but it felt like in this performance, everything went out the window. And perhaps it's because the rehearsal went terribly, so they were like almost worried that this would also end up like that. Perhaps it's because they had to maintain their live vocals, and because of that, they had to sacrifice their stage presence, but no. I was also slightly disappointed in Jay's vocals as well. I was really excited for his vocals because Home is such a challenging song, and a lot of good main vocals were there. I just don't know why all of their stage presence was kind of lacking in this. Like, it was a little bit shaky, Jay's voice in particular, and he just felt really, like, nervous, I guess. But the really, really good part was his high note, Jay's high note, paired with what's his name? Seungwon. Seungwon's high note was crazy good. That was really good, and it almost made me forget all of the lack of stage presence they had prior to that high note. So there you go for that. Yeah, not gonna lie, a little intervention here from the home performance. I mean, that's all I really got to say about that. Like Im Han-byeol, like the guy, if you know the vocal coach, he's kind of a less of a meme in Boys Planet. Perhaps it's, like honestly, he doesn't get that much screen time as compared to last time. Maybe he's now insecure about his, that little facial expression. But no, I wished for him to be more of a meme now that he's in Boys Planet. But no, he was kind of an icon of Girls Planet. If you like throw out all the trainees, he was the it boy of Girls Planet. Okay, now we're going to move on to the Love Killa team. Now, before I say anything, which I think they did really, really good, I kind of want to compare them to Zoom. Because Zoom seemed like a whole group, as I mentioned. However, Love Killa seemed like really separate, if that makes sense. All of the members had very different vibes going on, and although each of them are talented, they didn't really seem like a cohesive group. Like, if they debuted, I would be slightly questioning it. If Zoom debuted, I'll be like, yeah, this is a solid group. Okay, we're gonna talk about the harsh stuff, and just know that like half of the members in Love Killa is literally my picks. Like, I love Matthew. I think he is extremely talented, and he's gonna be in the debut lineup no matter what, so good for him. But I feel like he shouldn't have been leader. That doesn't really say anything about him except for the fact that he's just not a great leader. He just doesn't really handle the pressure well, and I feel like that's kind of what initially led to the first downfall of the group. Although they had an extremely amazing performance at the end of the day, like in the process it was a little bit rocky because Matthew wasn't super confident in leading and he didn't have prior experience. And you guys know one of my top picks is Matthew, so do not even worry about that. But I just think it would have been better if he was just a team member. And honestly, I don't think there's ever been an episode where Sewon's reactions are shown like at least 5 to 10 times, and he's just making the most perfect expressions. If he received expression classes, someone hire that person for like Camden. Just kidding. They're both my picks, guys. Don't kill me. But no, everyone always talks about his visuals and his reactions, but I also want to like appreciate his vocals because they're also really good. And there's just certain trainees where they're only talked about for their visuals, but they also have talents as well, Okay. And then, performance was great. Not too much to talk about for that because, they were already really talented trainees, so it was kind of expected, if that makes sense. And I really did not expect Kim Gyuvin, who was also in that group, to be first amongst all the votes. I definitely thought it would be Chiung or Matthew for sure, but it was Kyubin, so that was kind of surprising, but at the same time, maybe it makes sense because he does have a lot of K-nets who are fans. I think Matthew is mainly popular internationally, and Jung is like half-half, but no, Kim Gyuvin is more like Korean kind of vibe, I guess. Not sure. Yeah, Ungi also got a lot more screen time as well, like reaction screen time, I feel like. They're definitely pushing him out more, which is great. I love to see that. I feel like Mnet, I know I was like talking bad about them in the last Boys Planet review, but no, this episode was kind of solid. If you cut out all the evil editing stuff, that is. Okay, next is, not really, but the Tomboy performance. Hello, like they're so good just looking at their practices, and it's kind of bound to be like they've got what? They've got Hui, they've got Jang Hao, and then they've got Songhanbin, and then who's the other member? Janghao, Songhanbin, Hui. Oh my god, I'm completely forgetting. Anyway, I was so impressed by Hui, and I don't know why I keep being impressed by him because I already know his full potential and his full talents, and him just showing like 5% of his full potential just always amazes me and makes me so proud. As long as he doesn't get evil edited, I really hope this is a great opportunity for Pentagon to thrive and for Hui to thrive as well and gain some attention off of this show, which has already happened, but we can already see his ranks dropping significantly. He's right now in 10th place, and I'm like kind of exaggerating because he only dropped 3 ranks, but the fact that he's out of the top 9 does make me slightly concerned. Honestly, I don't even know what I want for myself. I've mentioned this about 3 times. I thought at this point I would know what's happening, but I don't know. I don't want him to like debut in the group, but at the same time I want him to so he gets a bit of validation. I really don't know. There's a lot of Hui haters on there or out there in Boys Planet world, and a lot of people do not want him in the debut lineup, so I don't know if I want him to go through that. I don't know. For now, I am still voting for him just cause. You know, we'll see where this goes. Okay. Zhang Hao's rap is really, really solid. I thought he was more of a main vocal kind of guy, but I have a theory. I think all main vocals are good at rapping. Like, if you find a main vocal that sucks at rapping, and, like, not unironically, but, like, genuinely is not good at rapping, or, you know, haven't taken a stab at it, they definitely will be soon. That's just kind of my theory, but no. His rap was really good, and his pronunciation is really, really good. He actually has a lot of Korean fans, more than you would think, Jang Hao, because his pronunciation is good. Like, that's literally how to win K-Net's hearts. Have good pronunciation. Yeah. And Song Hanbin, constantly is just proving that he is at number 1 simply because of, not just because of his visuals, but also because of his talent. Like, he's just really well-rounded, and I feel like that's what makes him really attractive. And there's this one video of him going viral on TikTok. If you're on Boys Planet TikTok, you would know. And they call me Butter. It's so good. I honestly am low-key sick of that song. Does it even have lyrics? I don't know, but I do really love the video. Hui with glasses. Oh my goodness. I die a little. By the way, fun fact here, Hui is honestly on my lower ranks if I were to rank the Pentagon members, yet I still love him so much. Anyway, if you see the preview of the performance, everyone had like a symbol at the top. Like, I think someone was like a green heart, and they were like pretty like typical symbols. And then on top of Hui is this little character that almost looks like a dumpling, but his name is Kiko. And they're like his original creations of like these little I don't know, animations that he did. Like, one of them is called Kiko, another one is called Koki, and then they have a child and it's Kiko Koki. It's so cute. There's a V Live where he explains this, and it just popped up. I didn't even know about this before, but there you go. And of course, Hui taking care of the cliffhanger. Thank you. What would the editors do if it weren't for Hui? Because every time Hui is there, his performances is always going to be the cliffhanger, and in the next episode, in episode 7, it's probably going to be at the very last part, or the last performance at least, right? Like, the editors are absolutely eating it up. Okay, now moving on to the new original songs that they'll be doing after the next elimination, I think. So they showcase like a really short part of certain original songs that they'll be doing, and they did this for Girls Planet as well. And what you can do is like you vote for the trainees that you want to be in a certain song, if that makes sense. And essentially that's how groups are formatted. However, I voted quite a bit later. Like, I didn't even vote. What am I saying? Like, I saw it quite a bit late, so I couldn't vote. And I was so mad because I really, really want Oriental Pop. That song is so good. Switch is the title of it. I really want Camden to do it just because the choreo is so good, and I know he'll do justice for it. And I wish I could have voted for him for Oriental Pop. But yeah, I think Someone would actually match the concept of this song as well, because it's a little bit upbeat. Almost reminds me of like Beatbox by NCT Dream. I don't mean the melody, but just like the general vibe of it. Say My Name would also really suit Camden well. I don't even know why I'm trying this because it won't impact what he performs. I guess I'll just leave it up to the other people's votes. And one more thing, there's a lot going on with Boys Planet. They're also opening up like group name suggestions. I actually like suggested a couple in the Google form. I think it's still ongoing. You guys should definitely do it. Like you can come up with the boy group name or the future boy group name of the group that will be produced out of Boys Planet. Don't put Bepler in. No, no. Anyway, that's it for this video. Oh wait, no, I forgot to showcase my picks. It's honestly not that different from last time. We've got Camden, Ollie, Ihetek, Sewon, and Song Matthew. And the last vote, I honestly just kind of switch between people. Sometimes I'll do like Ma Jingxiang. I don't have like a top pick, so yeah. And I also sometimes switch with like Chen Guanjui. And then sometimes I'll do Song Hanbin. You know, just kind of depends on my mood that day. But thanks so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.